The 411 on KHOU 11 News.
And welcome back to the 411. New details are emerging in the deadly crowd surge at Astroworld.
Now, here are 4 things to know right now. 3 people remain hospitalized, including a 9-year-old boy in a medically induced coma. The lawsuits continue to stack up. At least 18 have been filed since Friday. Houston Fire Chief Sam Pena says he's looking into a Wall Street Journal report about whether a batch of counterfeit pills, possibly laced with fentanyl, played a role in some of the deaths. The medical examiner's office says it could take several weeks to determine the cause of death for the 8 victims. Well, tragedies like these can have a profound impact on the young victims and their families.
And it's important to keep an open line of communication during these tough times. Joining us now is University of Houston Downtown Professor of Psychology, Dr. Susan Henney. Dr. Henney, thanks for being with us. We want to ask you, what are some of the mental health impacts we could see from people as a result of this tragedy?
Well, some of the biggest ones are going to be anxiety, depression, sadness even, and some symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder. For example, emotional and physical exhaustion, concentration problems, problems sleeping, hypervigilance, maybe even some anger issues could happen. They're also going to be remembering the events over and over again, and that can cause kind of a preoccupation with the events of that night.
You know, so many people who went to the show may not even realize that they need help coping with their emotions. What would you tell them about seeking professional help?
Well, professional help is always available to you through a variety of sources. Reach out in your school, at your college, at your work, even to Crisis Hotline if you're in a crisis mode. There are resources out there for you. But closer to you, there are also resources, your family, your friends, those who are able to provide you with a comforting embrace, a listening ear, and who can support you non-judgmentally.
You know, there's so many heartbreaking videos that we've been seeing on social media, and of course people are curious. They're going to watch those videos, sometimes several times. How does this affect their mental health?
Yeah, we have a lot of experience with this actually ever since the 9/11 attacks, when people re-traumatize themselves over and over again by watching the videos. We actually have a name for it called media vicarious traumatization. I would suggest that people can take one step, which is go on a media diet or a media fast for a little while until you reset and can watch those images more with a more clear mind. You can also turn off autoplay on your devices so they don't start playing immediately when you see them. And really schedule your interactions with media and reduce your interactions with it for a while until things clear up for you.
Now, for those who were at the event, there are so many possible triggers, from a Travis Scott song or maybe a large crowd, so much more. So what is your advice to folks for how to cope with that?
They need to start practicing self-care, those things that can help them reliably self-soothe. And really, it's going to be something different for you and for me and for them. They can breathe, change their position, exercise, talk, reach out is the most important thing. If you are having problems in whatever environment you're in, reach out, try and connect with someone who can support you non-judgmentally.
The thing about this concert, there were so many kids, teens, young adults. For many of them, this was their first concert. So how can parents discuss this tragedy with their children?
It's really important that parents be a non-judgmental ear for their children and teens. It doesn't do any good to play the blame game when someone is suffering. It doesn't do any good to tell a teenager not to like Travis Scott or not to go to concerts. It really is about listening, being non-judgmental, helping your child to work through it in a way that is meaningful to them. Ask your child, what do you need from me? How can I support you? Let them guide you and lead you to the best ways to support them. What kids don't need is adults who know more about what they're feeling than they do. Let's all just be kind and supportive and non-judgmental.
Good advice there. Listening is key. Dr. Susan Henney, we do appreciate your expertise on this difficult subject. Thank you so much. Astroworld is just the latest in the list of devastating events at major concerts. You can head to khou.com to learn more about the infamous 1979 Who concert in Cincinnati and other festival fatalities.